He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. The royal family want me back. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Have you ever wondered about some of the press reportage about certain aspects of the dynamic between this one's wife and the rest of the royal family? You will have seen instances where it's reported that this one's wife has been engaging in regular conversations with King Charles, that she contacted and spoke with Catherine to express her sympathies and concerns following the cancer diagnosis, that she has repeatedly offered olive branches to members of the royal family to heal the rift, that she has invited them to attend certain events, but they've decided against turning up. And you will have probably read those and thought to yourself, horseshit, like that actually happened. But then the question comes, but why would they report that? Why would a newspaper or an online publication be providing that information? Well, there is the possibility, of course, of journalists making things up, and that's something that has happened before and, of course, would happen again. But it's actually a simpler explanation than that. It revolves around leaked information. Leaked information is common. Governments find they have problems with leaked information which demonstrates an unpopular scheme or certain information that they didn't want the world as a whole to know about. But also people leak information for two purposes: to make themselves look good and to make other people look bad. Sometimes leaked information can achieve both things at once. In other instances, it takes separate types of information to achieve that. Thus, you know something about a particular person. You might have emails, messages, photographs, even footage, which conveniently gets leaked to a national newspaper for them to report upon it. Thus, the smear against that individual is undertaken. In other instances, you may cause it to be known that certain behaviours have been undertaken by you in order to put you in a better light. And that's something that this one's wife regularly orchestrates. The provision of leaked information to appropriate PR outlets so that they can then spread it like manure amongst the online and print media for the purposes of making it seem like this one's wife is a good and decent person. Unfortunately for her, it doesn't really work because too many people have now formed an entrenched view of her. But that's not going to stop her from trying. Thus, supposed conversations have taken place with King Charles. This one's wife organises it so that that information is leaked. It appears in the Daily Mail that reports that there are conversations that have taken place between this one's wife and King Charles. The palace doesn't respond to a request for comment. This one's wife doesn't need to because she's the one that leaked it in the first place. But why would she provide that information? Well, you would think to yourself, well, it's quite obvious, HG. She wants to do so to make her look good. True, she makes it want to seem as if she's got an ongoing dialogue with King Charles. She makes it look like she is the one that is trying to heal the rift, to manage her facade, to assert control over the readership as a whole, to try and dupe them into believing that she's not the problem, and it's the royal family that are being the sticks in the mud. She is releasing this information for the purposes of demonstrating that she cares, that she, notwithstanding the awful way she has been treated by the royal family, doesn't bear a grudge. No, no, no. She has turned the other cheek. She is the better person. She continues to demonstrate a commitment to healing the rift and bringing people together again. you would rightly form the conclusion that such a view is deluded, and it is. But do you think it's the case that this one's wife sits down and thinks, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leak to these newspapers that I've had a conversation with King Charles. I'm going to leak to these newspapers that we sent an invitation to William and Catherine, but they didn't respond. I'm going to leak to the newspaper that I contacted Catherine to ask how she was doing in light of her cancer diagnosis. I'll tell them those things. That'll make me look good. What she's actually doing is conveying what she believes is true. I'll say that again. When she leaks this information or causes it to be leaked, I don't suppose she contacts the newspapers direct. She'll have somebody do it for her. But what she's conveying is what she believes to be true. You see, she does actually believe that she's had these conversations with King Charles. She does actually believe that she telephoned Catherine and expressed her good wishes. She does actually believe that she's working to heal the rift. You see, her narcissism revises history and causes her to believe a certain set of facts, which in her world, in her reality, is total fact. She does not sit there thinking, I know I've not spoken with King Charles, but I'll organise a leak of that information anyway to make me look good. She believes the conversation took place. She sits there with these, in effect, imaginary conversations floating around in her head. And then, because she's driven by her narcissism to seek the prime aims, organises the leak of the information to make her look like she's the kind and caring one. She believes she's using facts. She believes she's using the truth. Because such is her level of delusion, she honestly believes that she's had these conversations. That is the way that the mind of the unaware narcissist works. As you've seen by the collateral consequences, the fuck-ups, the schoolgirl errors that she engages in, she hasn't got that Machiavellian mastermind approach. Not a lot of narcissists do. Much of what narcissists actually do is focused on themselves, which happens to hurt other people collaterally. It's not so much that the narcissist goes out of their way to hurt other people. There are some narcissists that are particularly predatory and malevolent in that respect. It would be ridiculous to suggest they aren't. But they are very much in the minority. For example, the narcissist comes home. His wife has made, let's say, a particular dish which is to be saved for dinner the following day. Or perhaps she's hosting a party or having friends round. The narcissist turns up late. He's hungry. He opens the fridge. He sees the dish and he eats it. He doesn't think to himself, aha, that's clearly been made by my wife for her little soiree tomorrow. Well, she's a fucking bitch, so I'm going to eat it and that'll piss her off. No. He doesn't have any emotional empathy, which causes him to automatically realise that belongs to somebody else, therefore I ought not to eat it. Or even just ignore it. Doesn't even have to contemplate that it's somebody else's. That would happen with somebody with emotional empathy. He simply eats it because he's hungry and his needs must be met. And because he has no emotional empathy, no boundary recognition, a sense of entitlement, he takes something that doesn't belong to him without thinking about it. It's not done on purpose to hurt his wife, it's done to fulfill his needs. But the collateral consequence is that he's taken something that doesn't belong to him, something that was meant to be for the soiree, and it thus causes a problem. His wife may well believe that he did it on purpose, alongside all of the other acts of devaluation that have been occurring. The narcissist goes out and has sex with somebody else. The victim may well think he's done that on purpose to get to me. No. He's doing it because he has a need for fuel. That other person is on his radar, and he uses sex as a means of controlling them. He's not even thinking about his wife when he's having sex with that individual. She's not on the radar. He's not doing it to get at his wife. Although it is an act of devaluation because he's cheating on her, it's not directed at the wife. It's directed at the affair partner. This isn't to defend narcissists. This isn't to sort of say that they're less culpable. Far from it. But it is to convey the message to you that a lot of what the narcissist does is focused on themselves, and that selfishness and level of self-absorption then results in the narcissist causing problems for other people. Yes, there are instances where the narcissist does something which is driven by their narcissism to deliberately hurt somebody else. Of course there is. But many of the acts of the narcissist can be interpreted as directed at the victim when actually the victim is hurt by way of a collateral consequence of the simple selfishness and self-absorption of the narcissist. So, for instance, when this one's wife barges in front of Harry, she's not doing that because she thinks, I want to make Harry look stupid. She's doing it because she believes that she should be first. And the collateral consequence is, because she has no emotional empathy for him, Harry ends up looking stupid. Harry's shaking hands with someone, she pushes in for a hug because she believes her needs should come first. And she doesn't have any emotional empathy for Harry. Therefore, she does that to attend to her needs with the collateral consequence. It shoves Harry out of the way and makes him look silly and humiliates him to a degree in public. But she didn't think, I know, I'm going to humiliate Harry now by pushing in on his handshake. It's, no, I need to go in for the hug to control this person. And it just so happens that her conduct interrupts Harry's handshake and makes him look stupid. Again, it's about her self-absorption. You see, what's going around in her head the whole time is, you're the best, you're first, you're important, you matter. And as part of that, that tells her that the royal family want her back. That why wouldn't they want her back? She's the saviour of the royal family. She's modernising, a person of colour. She knows what the people want. She's vastly popular. She operates within that delusion. And that delusion tells her that she's had these conversations, which she then organises to be leaked as part of trying to bring about the return to the royal family also. King Charles spoke to me. He said he wants me to return, and she honestly believes that took place because that's the level of delusion that operates within the mind of this particularly self-absorbed narcissist. Those conversations, the supposed telephone calls with Charles, with Catherine, with others, she believes took place, and she believes it's all part of the royal family wanting her back, because why wouldn't they? Remember, in her world, she believes that she's a living saint, the Empress of Woke, the Queen. Therefore, you'd be nuts not to want to have involvement with her. All the time, it's like a voice whispering in her head, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're fantastic, you should go first. They should respect you more. They ought to look up to you. They should involve you. You should be invited to that, you know. You should be attending this. You should speak at that. The people love you. People want to be like you. That man who walked past you, he wants to fuck you. That woman over there, she's admiring you. This is this constant track that goes on during the waking hours of reminding the narcissist of how special she is. Telling her all of this so that she is then propelled to take action to get to the prime aims. And thus, part of this delusion is the belief that the royal family want her back, and thus these conversations that her narcissism tells her have taken place, she ends up leaking in order to try and cause that to come about. I provide you with this information to give you some insight into the way that her mind works. To many of you, it will seem extraordinary that someone can think this way, but remember, her mind is not set up in the way that yours is. Her mind is set up to operate within the, if you like, the framework of her narcissism. That's the code that has been written for her brain, and it's different compared to yours. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.